All right, so Jalen Brunson kind of has the chance to do the funniest thing ever. That's win the finals as a small guard in the East on the Knicks. Like, can you just imagine if all those things happen? Who knows? But I'm here today to talk about the finals, give a little preview, stuff that you should be looking out for in this finals matchup. And these things that I'm about to talk about are probably going to dictate the series. All right, let's start with Jalen Brunson, the title and probably thumbnail of this video. Thumbnail's not made yet, but it's probably going to be Jalen Brunson. So, obviously, the Spurs, the number one thing on their agenda is going to be slowing down Jalen Brunson. Whether that's stopping him from getting to the middle of the court, with a defender on his back so he can get to Krabs and his little float game, whether that's being high on the screens so Jalen Brunson can't shoot pull up threes, whether that's Castle, Harper, whoever hounding him 94 feet like they did Shea. While I think Shea is a better scorer than Jalen Brunson, I do think Jalen Brunson is a better matchup for this Spurs team. Yeah, I know it may seem weird that I'm saying that. I just think the way Jalen Brunson plays basketball will be better for the Knicks as opposed to the way Shea plays basketball. He gets some more bumps and stuff. Jalen Brunson uses screens and kind of angles and stuff more than Shea. So that's going to be probably the biggest storyline of the series. What are they going to do with that? And then another storyline of this series is how are the Spurs going to keep Wemby in the paint? Because now, unlike the Thunder and every other team they've played, the Knicks actually have five shooters. They're not going to be running a Hartenstein or any center of that nature unless Mitchell Robinson's in the game, but then Wemby will be standing in the paint next to him. But when the starting lineup of Brunson, OG, Mikal, Cat, and Josh Hart are in, how is Wemby going to stay in the paint? From the regular season matchups, the way he did that was guarding Josh Hart. And so Josh Hart would be the low man in the corner, and then Wemby would just guard the corner, daring Josh Hart to shoot. So we'll see if Josh Hart wants to hit shots. Knicks team's been really hot. I don't think they'll be comfortable leaving shooters open in the corner the entire game. They're going to have to do some sort of adjustments, but you can't just put Wemby on Cat because Cat can not only shoot the ball better than almost any other center to play his game, he can drive the ball to the basket better than the centers that the Spurs have faced up to this point. So it should be an interesting matchup to see how they handle that. And then also, last thing about the Knicks offense for now is Mitchell Robbins. One, is he playing? As the time of this recording, I have no idea if Mitchell Robinson's playing or not. Hopefully he does because he is a vital piece to this matchup and a big chess piece. But we're going to assume he is. If Mitchell Robinson's playing, how physical is he going to be on the glass? Because as you guys know, there was the NBA Cup game where Mitchell Robinson completely dominated Wemby on the boards because Wemby would contest a shot and then Mitch would go get the offensive rebound, put back, or whatever. And as we've seen with this playoffs, physical defenders with Wemby can frustrate him at times. Gets to throwing bows and sending his hitters out. So who knows? Will Mitchell Robinson impose his will on the series? And how much does he actually play as well? Because, in the playoffs, Hack a Mitch is a real thing. So we'll see. And then on the flip side of that, it's going to be for the Spurs offense. How are you going to attack Jalen Brunson? Because obviously he's going to be in the game. He's going to be in the game a lot. What ideas are you going to get to getting Jalen Brunson in actions to where you can hunt him? Whether that's a guard-to-guard screen, whether that's somebody having the ball at the top of the key, you running an off-ball action, hunting Jalen Brunson, whatever, however you want to get into it, That is going to be the $1 million question. How are the Spurs going to attack this Knicks defense? Knicks have a lot of versatile defenders. They also have a really good one in OG Anunoby. I mean, McCall and Josh Hart are no slouches either. But the Knicks defense is different than any other defense that the Spurs have played up to this point because the Knicks defenders have a little bit of size on them compared to like the Thunder defenders. They may have some strength, like for example, Lou Dort's strong, but he's not tall. The Knicks wings are strong and tall. So this is going to be a kind of a different matchup for Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, who I still expect to perform really well in this series, but it's not going to be as easy to just bump your way to the basket, especially with the playoff whistle and these big wings guarding the guards. And then also, how much is Luke Cornett going to play? How much will Mitch Johnson be willing to let him play this series? And will he get hunted like he did last series? Who knows? But for the Spurs, it's just going to be offensively, it's going to be about finding what matchups they want to hunt and whoever's guarding Wemby, how they want to attack that. Because if it's Mitchell Robinson, they'll probably have Wemby play him more on the outside, let him use his elite speed and jump shooting. Then if it's Cat, you can kind of do a little bit of both, but Cat is a little faster than Mitch, but he's not as good as a defender as Cat. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Not Castle. Cat is a pretty good defender, but he doesn't have the length to contest Wemby at the rim. So we'll see there. They've also put OG Anunoby on Wemby, which has proven to work because as we saw way back, if you guys remember, when the Nuggets beat the Spurs in that overtime game, Aaron Gordon did a really good job on Wemby. He seems to struggle with tall, physical defenders. So, or not tall, but like 6'8", that 6'8" to 6'10" range, physical defenders that can slide their feet and have a lower center of gravity than Wemby so they can get into his space and kind of disrupt him. So we'll see how the Knicks go about that. But just like every series these days, it's going to come down to the role players. What is Keldon Johnson, the Deuce McBrides, the Landry Shamits, the Jordan Clarksons, the Dylan Harpers? I mean, I guess he's a super role player, but he doesn't start. The Vassell's, the Champagnes. What are these guys going to do? That's what the series is going to come down to at the end of the day. Which side ends up showing up? Which bench ends up showing up? And role players. And do the Knicks stay hot? Do the Knicks stay hot? Continue to hit shots at that high of a clip? Who knows? For anyone that's watched the West up until this point, it looked like they were playing a completely different basketball game than the East. That being said, I can't count out the Knicks. I won't count out the Knicks. I'm about to give my prediction. But like I said, I can't count out the Knicks. Everybody counted out the Pacers last year. They took the Thunder to 7. Some argue that Tyrese Halliburton, if he didn't get hurt, that they would have won. I'm not here to debate that. But I just can't count out a team that's been this hot, beating everybody by 30. So I don't think this series is going to be as free as people think it's going to be. I think this is going to be a really hard-fought series for both teams. Both teams want it. Narratives of a lifetime are on the line in this series. For the Knicks, it's the fact that this team hasn't had success in a very long time. Got a small guard that took a pay cut to play with his boys, and now they're in the finals. This could rewrite a lot of narratives about small guards being championship winning players. Like Becky Hammond's going to have to come outside and answer for her crimes. because she said that small guards can't win rings. So the Knicks get one, it could get spooky. It could get real spooky. And also, the city of New York would probably go into anarchy. It would probably look like GTA 4. Not gonna lie. As for the Spurs, this could be the beginning of the end. Thanos in his first playoff run gets a ring. This could be the beginning of 5 straight, 10 straight. People are going to gas this ring for this Spurs team for a long time if they end up getting a ring in their first run. Wemby is going to get in some uncomfortable conversations already at the age of 22 because no great. Granted, Wemby does have a better team than most of the other greats at this point in his career, but no other great has gone to the playoffs this young and won a ring. So we have two polar opposites. We could have small guards, short kings stand back up, or Thanos is here, 7-6, run the world. Now, as for my prediction, I do think the Spurs win this series. As much as it pains me to say that, I do think the Spurs win. However, I got Spurs in 6. I do not think the Knicks get anything less than 2 games. Hopefully, they can push it to 7. Hopefully, the Knicks win, honestly. Let's just start there. But the Spurs are probably going to win this series, unfortunately. I got Spurs in 6. Let me see if there's anything else I missed. The only thing I missed is how physical is this series going to be? Are the Knicks ready to match the physicality of the Spurs that they saw in the Western Conference? Because I watched the Eastern Conference a little bit. I mean, every game was a blowout besides game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, so it's kind of hard to speak on it, that series, because it wasn't competitive at all. But how physical are the refs going to allow the players to be this series? Because the Spurs foul a lot. Knicks, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited. I'll be back later today to talk about game 1.